So today I spoke about on a podcast. I did a podcast this morning. I used an application or a platform called Anchor. Anchor is like your personal radio station. So what you can do on Anchor is record what they call a wave. You've got up to 5 minutes of recording. After you finish recording the Anchor wave, you can then post it as a wave on your account, and you can also convert it into a podcast and post it on the iTunes. So Apple iTunes, I've got my podcast there. If you go to the iTunes platform, you should be able to watch my podcasts there, made on Anchor. But I also want to make more podcasts based on this audio, for example, because that's one of the things you can do is to repurpose your content, which means that the audio from this video I can use for a podcast and post it on the iTunes podcasts application. Now, I spoke about, in that podcast, I spoke about the importance of context. What that means is that I think a lot of people have sort of diluted their expertise by stretching themselves too wide, meaning that instead of talking about what they know, instead of sticking to their area of specialism, they have become experts of everything. And so a lot of people are not really sure what those people do. So it becomes very difficult because you comment on everything and you want to sound like an expert on everything. And that's not always possible. So what you need to be able to do is to stick to what you know. For example, as a physicist, I can talk about other stuff, but always in the context of physics. So what does that mean? So it means that if we're talking about economic issues, I can talk about the relevance of physics as an economic driver, or as one of the things, or the main thing actually, which brought about the Industrial Revolution, the Agricultural Revolution, the technological revolution that we are going through, and the datafication of everything. So I can say that physics is deeply ingrained in the economic growth and development of many economies, which is why the leading economies have always relied or always taken people from other continents to come and contribute to their economies. They've always taken the intellectual properties of other countries and use those people in their own countries as professionals who are contributing to the economy of their new countries of residence. Okay, so there's a lot of physics in everything that could be happening around me, which I can then talk about. So it's the same if you're a banker and they are talking about a disease outbreak, you could maybe chip in and talk about how investments, how banks can contribute to the alleviation of poverty in a certain area by giving out loans, etc. So a lot of things are happening around us. You cannot comment on everything. You cannot force the context into everything. But I think there is enough for you to talk about whatever your area of specialization is, you can be able to find some context and talk about that instead. Okay? So thank you for listening. I will see you again in the next episode of Derek Tafuma TV on Facebook.